David Bowie, Slow Burn, yeah. Quite a Eno trilogy feel about it, Lodger and sort of Low type, yeah. But, yeah.
Enjoyable.
Now, okay. That's stressful, isn't it? I think we've got things working now. We've had people coming in and out, just shaking their head going, shouldn't have bought that desk. But it's all sorted now, I think. And,
you notice how it took, about 25 minutes for them to come down as well, though? Do you feel like we're maybe quite low in the pecking order in the building?
Definitely.
You know, it's like Capital First, Capital Gold. They can shoot off to other sort of pirate stations. People's car radios, then they come back here.
Oh, dear. Oh, I had a job at Richard Sounds. Light fitting was, buzzing. Now, but we've got, thanks for staying, listening. Right, okay, educating Ricky. What have we got? Airy Chinese kid, go on.
Right, yeah. This is the, I didn't want to do this.
What do you mean you didn't want to do it?
Well, I wanted to give you 3 and I gave you one. It was like the alien man gets a beard or whatever.
Yeah,
and
which was total rubbish, so this one should be better, maybe.
Hairy Chinese kid. Right, well, we've talked about airy people in the past.
True enough.
Haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, the little kids who grew up in woods and hung around with wolves and that.
Yeah, again, you're confusing it. Yeah, they're not, there were some people that were born very hirsute. They were not the people who were brought up with wolves. You just put that together in your Homer Simpson type mind.
Right, well, this is like a sort of close to that sort of story.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, right, Chinese people aren't that hairy as a nation. No, seriously, that's a well-known fact. They don't have that much body hair and stuff.
Okay.
So this little kid who was born over there, he was like covered in the stuff.
Was he?
And it was only his nose that wasn't hairy. The rest of his body was caked in hair, right? And his hair sort of
What
grew.
sort of hair was it? Was
thick hair.
No, what I mean is, was it sort of, like a pony's mane, so he just looked like an Ewok? You know what I mean? Just like hanging down sort of straight, dark hair.
In the picture, it looked like, it grows from his eyebrow. It grows from his eyebrows quite thick, and then it just goes all the way over his head.
You don't think it was just really long eyebrows that he'd done a comb over?
No, it was all over his body. It had a picture of, like, his back and that.
Yeah.
And,
had he styled it? Had he styled it at all? Did he have it in a quiff, or?
No, it was just
hanging everywhere.
all over him.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this is a bit weird, happening in China, where we're not normally that airy.
That was the scientist speaking there.
Yeah.
And the local press and that were getting him down, calling him Monkey Boy and all this.
Oh.
And
thinking Chinese press.
But the doctor,
yeah. Oh,
they're cruel, aren't they? It's like those game shows.
well,
That's Japanese, isn't it?
yeah.
Let's call that.
Yeah.
and the doctor said,
I was still talking through all that time while we were just like talking to each other then. Because I turned round and I still saw he was talking. Go on.
So anyway, the local press came in to see the hairy boy, the monkey boy.
and they were like being tight, taking the mickey out of him, and the doctor said,
throwing him nuts.
said he's only airy. Said he's a healthy young kid. The only faults he's got is he's got a little bit of eczema and a boil. And he said everybody should just treat him the same, and I think he grew up a healthy kid. Yeah, so that's the
That's
the end of the story.
That's not a story.
why?
Well, but I've got nothing. I don't know what to say to that. So someone in China was born slightly hairier than the rest, and he was normal apart from eczema and a boil. That to me isn't a story. But if it is, I've got a million. I mean, it's sort of like bloke from Manchester went a bit bolder than the rest, got a job on radio. He was normal. I mean, that's not a story, is it? Do you know what I mean?
All right then.
Hang on.
Hold on, he's got the big guns. You're not going to give us hanging bacon, are you?
Yeah.
Come on then. Right.
This is the one we've been looking forward to. This is it.
No, this is a good one.
This is the one.
And this is a story, right? Do you know the saying, chewing the fat?
Good one. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Talking.
Right. Well, do you know where it came from?
No.
Right, what they used to do years ago, when people didn't have much money...
Is this the same as the throwing the baby out of the bathwater?
No, it's not the, well, it's not the same saying, but it's...
No, but I mean, is it as wrong as that was?
Well, let me tell you, we'll
Go
see.
on. Okay.
Like, people go out to work, and with the money, they'd buy food.
Oh yeah, go on. This is a good system. What? Go on. What do you mean? People go out to work and with the system.
And if you were quite well off, you might treat your family to some bacon, right? But do you know, like in these days, if people earn a lot of money, they might buy a nice suit or a car.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You're saying wait, let me get this straight. You're saying that you go out to work and get money to buy things to live, and if you get sort of enough money to live and you've got some left over, you might treat yourself on like a suit or a car or something. Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Oh,
but back then, if you earned money, they'd say...
This is olden times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get some bacon in, right? And what they'd do, they'd hang it in the kitchen.
What, to show it off?
To show it off to all the neighbours and friends. Because if you had hanging bacon, it was like, he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah.
Some lovely bacon.
So they had loads of bacon hanging up, and people would come round, right? And whilst they stood in the kitchen talking about whatever they're talking about...
In olden times.
They'd say, do you want a bit of rind? And they'd rip a little bit of rind off, and whilst they're having a chit-chat...
Chewing the
they'd
fat.
chew on the rind.
Well, I think that's probably true.
And
I haven't heard that, but that one to me sounds true. Do you see the difference between that one and a man was abducted and grew a beard? Can you see the difference in why I accept that story?
Different stories for different things.
Different stories for different things. So, see, that's a nice story. If it's true, I don't know if it's true. I mean, but it seems totally possible, viable, quite interesting. I won't be quoting that myself until I've verified it. But that's, you know, I won't be telling anyone the bloke got in the car and he had a full-faced beard. Why has his car been towed away?
Because it was a quiet road. It wasn't in the way. So.
Are you filling in the blanks again? That wasn't in the book, was it, that you read? See, that's the thing. Sometimes I think you make up bits of the story as though they were fact. That doesn't seem right.
Well, that's all you can do, innit? So that's educating Ricky. Will we...
Brilliant.
Do that next week.
That is brilliant.
No, I think that was good. I did. I mean, I enjoyed that. I learned something from that.
I mean, I want to get. I mean, this is all from one book, is it?
Yeah.
That's an interesting book.
With the, I don't want to dwell on it, but with the hairy Chinese kid, what did they say about that? What was the, I mean, was it once there was born a kid who was slightly more hairy than everyone else? But it's all right. He only had a boil. How did they word it? How did this capture your imagination?
There was
it was a picture that grabbed me first of all.
Yeah. Sure.
And it was like, God, what's up with him? And that's when I read it.
Did you see the boil and the eczema or just the hair?
No, you see, because his face is like, just under his eyes is sort of nice and smooth, and his nose is sticking out, and that's not hairy. But the rest of him, it looked like he had a sort of a balaclava on or something. And then I read on, and it's like, this is a hairy kid in China.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Anything else in there? Because I mean, I like that.
No, we'll do more of that next week.
How is that alongside hanging bacon, alien abduction, a hairy Chinese kid, and a little interesting fact about the derivation of a phrase?
What do you mean?
He didn't understand a word of that. I knew the word derivation was going to cause problems. I thought derivation shouldn't have come out.
No, I wasn't disputing. He's all smug because he's had a phone call. That was Beck, lost cause. Go on, tell him why you're all smug.
Because Adrian just called up.
Yeah.
After hearing the story about the Chinese kid.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that's true. He said that there was a TV programme on it.
Yeah.
He had a chromosome defect.
Yeah.
And it made him hairy. And his mum and dad used to have to shave him. That wasn't in the book. But, thinking about it, that's not a good move anyway, is it? Because they say that for women, if you get a few hairs on your top lip, don't shave it because it'll grow back thicker and faster. So...
Right.
They should just, let him be
They should have just said, well, let's see how bad it gets. But if they went in there straight away, if he came out as a baby and a little bit hairy, they should have left it, maybe, for a little bit. But Adrian called up and said, yeah, he was hairy, he was all
but
right.
we weren't disputing there was a Chinese kid born slightly hairier than the rest.
We were disputing the fact that you didn't actually tell us a story. You just told us a
And
sort
what we
of
are
selection of
disputing
facts.
is that man was abducted by aliens for 3 days and grew a beard.
Yeah.
That's definitely not true.
No.
We don't know about chewing the fat, but it sounds quite viable.
Yeah.
You see, the difference is between me and Steve and you is that what we believe isn't random. Do you know what I mean? It's not random. The things that...
We don't believe stuff just because it's interesting.
It's not every other thing we believe and every other thing we don't.
Well, I think Carl believes stuff if it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If he thinks, oh, intriguing. Fact.
He said to me on the, before he got a minute, he said, that Ollie's record, he ain't ever used my brother, what's that about then? And I went, I don't know, I heard, it was about someone who had a disabled brother, and he was lifting him in and out of a car or something, and someone said, "Oh, do you want a hand?" And he went, "No, it's not heavy, he's my brother." I.e., this isn't a burden for me.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Carl, what did you say?
I'd say...
No, I'll tell you what he said. He went, "That's ridiculous, he was still heavy." And he said, "Don't turn down help."
Which... We were talking about that because a new feature we're starting about this time every week.
Oh, yeah.
And we start about this time every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do... that song's got a good story.
Okay.
Yeah, love it, snappy. Go on, go on.
There's loads of songs out there, isn't there, with songs that you couldn't fade out. When you hear them on the radio and that, you don't want anyone to talk over the start or the end.
Yeah.
Because
but remember we did this one before with, Killing a Georgie by, Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried that it might have been a true story, because we were, you know, joking about it. And, he went, "Oh, you know that Killing a Georgie?" He went, "I think it is a true story." I went, "Why?" He went, "I listened to it again, and Rod Stewart at the beginning says, this is one of my best friends." It's brilliant, isn't it? It's genius.
So there's loads of songs out there, and what I want to do, we want to get the audience involved in this, so if you've got, like, a favourite song that's got a really good
if you've got an
story,
audience.
well,
yeah, go on.
and they email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and they say what the song is now.
What would examples be then?
Examples, ones that jump to mind straight away for me, Elvis, In the Ghetto.
Yeah, good one.
Brilliant.
Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy.
Absolutely.
Don't know that one.
Eminem, Stan.
Right. Yeah. Good one. You couldn't fade it out, could you? Because you go, "Well, what happened?"
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Not just any sort of pop song that keeps repeating itself. And, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it skips or, you know what I mean, if you turn the radio off.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Ernie,
songs.
the fastest milkman in the West.
Yeah, that is a good story. That is a good story. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a story, yeah.
Ted from Teddington, he drove the baker's van.
Well,
So what have we got then? Have we got one?
so we're going to kick it off today with Stevie Wonder, "Living Just Enough for the City."
Okay.
And, just briefly.
Sum it up. Right,
Yeah.
if you haven't, if you are nipping out, maybe you're in the car and you're about to pull up somewhere and get out, what it's all about is a lad who's growing up in, like, America in some rough area, right? And he's trying his best to do well and get a job and everything, but because of where he's from, he's stopping him doing that, right? It's like how I grew up on an estate in Manchester. I had to leave there and come to London to do all right for myself,
Yeah.
right? And it's his whole family, and it's a tale of, like, how his mum works dead hard and works loads of hours, but the kids are always well dressed and cleaned. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got a good job, you let your house run down. Do you know what I mean? She's looking after it. The sister, you know, she hasn't got new clothes, but they're always clean, and her knees are clean, I think it says in one point.
Excellent. Clean knees, always important.
So will we give it a listen? Let everyone
Brilliant,
hear
it's
it?
a
Well, I
great
don't
track.
think Stevie can do it justice. After that explanation.
Right, so
I'm not sure he's
I
going
hope
to
he
top
uses,
that.
like, some sort of, like, backing tune to try and,
Try and pep it up a bit, because
Yeah.
you have really knocked it the
So-
socks off
so-
it.
brilliant. I'm looking forward to the
right, here
clean
we go
knees.
then. It's a new feature.
What is it called again?
The story in that song's really good. Here's Stevie Wonder.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. Emily from New York has asked Carl this. Carl, if you were on a sinking ship, or you were in a burning building, and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us,
Yeah.
who would you save? Would it
Is
be
it-
Ricky, or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
The girder.
Yeah,
It's
he
full on.
dies, so he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What,
Because it depends
because
what the
Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, you know, hate you for.
Well, no, listen.
He
all I
won't be
would say
around
is-
for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well-
Forget him.
Bear in mind this, Carl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, you know, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas
on.
me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping
there
you
we
out.
go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What?
The time when we went for a coffee and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50 pence change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p,
Oh, I'm not
and you
liking-
decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I want to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who
But
was
you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah. and
No, but yes, but that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a
matter.
promotional thing that was sent to you.
it's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, you know, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well,
Listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine if he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Well, think about it and...
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then sort of, so the conclusion is...
Okay, all right. A few people have sent this in, including Paul, the party animal Parker. For some reason, we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still not a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late.
Sure.
And the boss, who's in over, will go, Parker, you're late again. He goes, yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all.
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke, goes, you stupid idiot, you can't go there. He goes, chill out, man, and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, he just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. That you know, you take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you know, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say, like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, you know, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
I mean, if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself
I
because
wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue
Yeah.
and they said, here's some faces you can have, pick which one you want.
Yeah.
would you be looked upon badly if you go, do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face? Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone.
Yeah, I know, but at some point, well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to.
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What, do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
Bro, where has this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
people- Where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these...
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we'd passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. You know, it's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this, though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.
It's from Anne-Marie. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7-month-old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Carl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
Yeah, you can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what
exactly.
I mean is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman. You know,
A rumman? Where's that?
No, just like, you know, she like going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Right, which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised, because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of
Second
down and what have you. But suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It what? It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North
stressful.
American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
Sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. but all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it. And you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Okay, right.
That time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that,
Yeah.
I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons,
Yeah.
isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Hey, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off there. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fellow was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra.
Alright.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about.
POD, or pod, as I call them. I don't.
No.
XFM 104.9. It's the Ricky Gervais Show.
With Steve Merchant?
Yeah. So Dermot O'Diddley,
Yes.
through weeks and weeks in a row, he doesn't even turn up, and now suddenly he's all over breakfast.
I noticed, yeah, you're standing in for the breakfast show. Why weren't we asked to do that?
Well, we
Quite
were.
upsetting. Were we?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, but I don't want to get up that early, do I?
Sure.
I feel a bit hungover today, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's happening? What were you partying last night, were you?
Well, not partying. We just went out for a couple of drinks, then had a meal, and then went to the Borderline and saw. But I'll tell you about that. It's good.
You saw a band? That's the first
Yeah.
time in years, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
Do
yeah. Because no, do you know John Sim, the actor?
Not really.
He's in this band, right, called Magic Alex, and it was really good. They're sort of like a friendly Oasis. They got, sort of
Yeah,
quite,
yeah.
it's quite mank sort of feel, but it's really good songs and everything.
Is he the singer?
Yeah, no, he's a guitarist. Nice, cool. But it was full of actors because and I felt quite tall.
That's ludicrous, because you're
See,
a very short man.
Well, I am. I'm sort of. I was average, but now I'm not. I don't think 5'8". That's what. But there, I was like quite. It was like Lilliput. So I just got to hang out at actors do. Or like, yeah.
This is the reason, because actors are often quite handsome people, but yet they're always quite obnoxious.
we are.
No, I mean, they're normally quite obnoxious, Rick. Again, you're a good example of that. And yet, I think it must be the small man complex. That's what makes them so obnoxious and so kind of desperate for attention. Didn't realise it before.
Steady on.
Because, of course, I tower above everyone.
You do, don't you?
I'm, for people who don't know, who are listening, I'm 6'7" tall. That's high.
Yeah.
That's big.
And for people who've never seen him, he doesn't hold it well. It's not like he's a sort of handsome athlete, is it, Carl? He's a bit of a what do you call him?
Carl, don't answer.
No.
Don't get drawn into that. You know the game he's playing.
No. Do you know yesterday when you were in the office?
Yeah.
You did a little move, and it reminded me of Blakey.
Oh, I hate you, Gervais. Oh, I hate you, Pilkington.
That's sort of stance.
Yeah, but even he held it a little bit better, didn't he? Because he was a man, he had a big coat and everything, and a peak cap. But, yeah.
I can't believe you. Like, I've not suffered enough from being freakishly tall. Now, two of my best buddies,
Yeah.
live on radio, are just...
It's not just the height, though, is it? It's the posture and the face and everything.
But it's got your places, hasn't it?
No? What do you
No,
mean it's got me
it's-
places?
I think people give you a bit more of a chance in your career and stuff. It's like,
What, yeah, stacking shelves? Because I can reach to a high level.
Muse, Plug-in Baby on XFM 104.9.
Rick,
Ricky Gervais, go on.
Well, yeah, but I know you guys are laughing about the height thing, and for those that have only just tuned in, I am 6'7" tall, which is tall and that's big, and I pride myself on it in a way. I've worked hard, I've not smoked, I ate well,
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment, but obviously I didn't have much involvement in it. I just am, and it's a curse because mainly the problem is that you can't get stuff, you can't get clothes, you can't get shoes.
Yeah.
Size
It's size 14 feet.
Yeah, but it is genuine, and I don't know. I mean, it costs a lot to buy a pair of size 14 shoes, and I mean, if you were genuinely poor, I don't know how you'd afford to be tall because the clothing costs more, everything costs more.
I've seen this in comics that you'd actually go to school in a barrel
Wearing a barrel
with just braces. It'd just be a barrel and you'd have sort of flip flops, and you'd take a mule with you. They all had a mule, didn't they? The
But
poor
people always think you'll be in a pub or something, and people just think they can talk to you about it. They just think, hey, oh, you lanky, it's just like because it's like they.
But that really annoys you, doesn't it?
Well, it annoys me because it's like they think I should be proud of it. Like
Well, exactly, but they don't think that this is not a disadvantage. This is not a disability, is it? You're taller than most people. It might
is
get
a disability
no.
if
If you were 8'3", it'd be slightly debilitating. You would, but
Disabilitating?
you're what?
Disabilitating? Yeah. No, you're a medical man, aren't you? But no, the point is, it's a disabilitating because when you go on public transport, like if you're on a coach.
Yeah.
The only place I can sit on a coach is that seat
On the driver's lap.
Either on the driver's lap or that seat at the very end.
Yeah.
You know which sits into the aisle.
Yeah.
That's the only place I can
Why
sit.
don't you
And there's
stand
only
up,
some sort of
stand
kids
up.
at the back waving at drivers.
You could
in that
drive
seat.
it from the back.
Here he comes. Watch it.
Were you a tall baby? Or
Mr. and Mrs. Merchant, you've given birth to a basketball player. Look at his dribble already. Were you a tall baby? Babies aren't tall.
at what point did you suddenly like, Jesus, nothing fits me?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, Carl.
Let's do a little graph. How tall were you at 5?
Oh, I don't know. 3 foot?
3 foot. How tall were you at 12?
6 foot?
6. What are you really?
I don't know, do I? How do I remember? I don't remember this.
Well, when did teachers start calling you freak boy and
Really,
lanky?
they didn't. It wasn't
Didn't they?
so much. It was no.
You went to a funny school. I went bowling with him once. Right? I'd never been bowling before, and he'd been once before. And he went, "Let's go to this bowl." We went to a bowling alley, right? And you have to wear these special shoes. Now they're sort of like pointed things anyway, and they're multicoloured, sort of red and green. They look pretty weird. And the woman said to me, "Oh, what size?" I said, "Oh, 8." She went, "Yeah." "So what size are you?" He went, 14. She went, 14. He went, "You probably haven't got them." She goes, "Yeah, I think we have got one pair." And she put them on the table, and it was like Krusty the Clown. And I just started laughing. They looked so long, and he had to run round this bowling alley in these freaky clown
But
shoes.
they don't look freaky clown like when I'm wearing them, because the rest of me is in proportion to it.
It looks like a little wall bracket.
One of the worst things that happened to me was when I was I don't know, when I was about 16 or something. We went to Is a fire
There's a
alarm
fire alarm going off.
There's a fire alarm going
And the
off.
fire light's going off. Should we not just
Should
maybe
we
play a
evacuate?
record and go and check that out?
Wrap it up if you want.
No, not wrap it up. Play a record. I'm gonna go.
No, the
See you
fire, it's
later.
gone off, Rick. It's gone off.
Oh, what? They might have burned down.
Yeah, I think we'd know about it. The flames licking around our ankles would be a clue.
God.
I'm gonna go and investigate.
yes,
You
sir.
shouldn't ignore a fire alarm, should you?
Blimey. We're entertaining the nation.
Oh, look at him. He's scared of fire. What do you mean? Mercury Rev. The dark is rising. That's a good song, isn't it?
I noticed that you're investigating the fire mainly involved wandering out into the office, looking around a bit, then coming back.
Yeah.
What did you find out?
There was no fire.
There was no fire.
No.
Right.
But I love that. Imagine that though. Imagine there's a fire and there's loads of firemen. They go get back, and you go to the firemen. All get back. Oh, look at him.
I would. I'd actually
Yeah.
be justified to.
Okay, there's heavy shelling, lads. Retreat. Oh, back, Sarge. I'm sorry. Back, Sarge.
Yeah. Just
There was a fire alarm. I'd never seen it before. A fire thing going off. There was a fire alarm. I thought, oh, let's at least have a look if there's a fire. That's all I thought. See, there's some official coming in now to tell us we should have been running out.
There's no fire. Well, you can't just stop entertaining, you know, the people of London just because there's a fire.
This isn't the Titanic.
Oh, true.
I don't have to carry on playing.
I don't know. It feels like a bit of a sinking ship. Rick, you're
Right. Nice one. Nice
Oh,
one.
I don't know who I was taking off then. Probably me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Listen, let me just tell you briefly. This is another example of how people can just exploit you and make fun of you when you're tall.
Yeah.
I was quite tall. I've always been like about 6'7" for quite a while now. And when I was about 16, I went to a big New Year's celebration in Bristol, where I come from. And everyone kind of congregates in this big sort of part of town, and there's all people dancing around, like in Trafalgar Square. And I was there, and somehow I just picked up a balloon somewhere along the line, one of those kind of helium sort of balloons, and I was holding that, sort of dancing around. And these two girls came up to me, and I was thinking, yeah, okay, you know, it's New Year's Eve, brilliant, you know, that's my kind of party.
Yeah.
And they came up, and they went, hey.
Once a year.
And they said, you going to be here for long? And I went, well, maybe. And they said, it's just that we've arranged to meet back at you in about an hour. I went, what do you mean? I went, well, it's just because we can see you wherever you are. Don't worry, you can move around and stuff. We'll see you with the balloon. Just arranged to meet some friends.
I love that. A landmark.
So, like,
As pilots use that. Oh, we're just coming in. There's where we go. When we see Steve Merchant, we were descending to Bristol Temple Mead.
What's really funny is New Year's Eve, Trafalgar Square, you got a huge column, but they use Steve as like the meeting point.
Steve's got a
It's
huge
brilliant.
column.
Brilliant, Rick. Well done. Award-winning comedy.
Happy Monday. Took you back, didn't it? Happy Mondays there, Manxie. Now Carl's like really getting down. Oh yeah. Oh come on.
Got
Come
any
on.
Veras?
Oh come on, Mel.
Sweet.
Did it take you back, did it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
29. So you were just going into out of your teens.
I'm a Virgo.
No.
What?
No. No. You don't understand. It's just. I'm
Rick,
a
I
Virgo.
thought we discussed about involving Carl. in
Yeah,
any
sorry.
discussion.
Yeah.
Management have told us we're just not allowed to do it.
We've had emails from
Yeah,
people.
please don't speak to Carl.
It's cruel.
exactly.
On the cusp.
Can I just make an appeal? I don't want to.
On the cusp of Libra Virgo, he said. Still going through with it. Doesn't know what's going on, does he? Just wave bright objects at him.
Yeah.
And we've got a competition this, Steve.
We have, but before we mention
Go
that,
on.
can I just ask something? I don't want to exploit our position on the radio,
No.
but I wonder, because I'm very tall, and it's very tricky for me to get size 14 shoes and big clothes and stuff, can I just get people to send some stuff if like, maybe they own a
Yeah,
shop?
but it'd be things like homemade clogs
That's
that people
cool.
have carved out of chunks of wood they found
That's
in the
whatever.
shed.
Whatever.
It's not
When I
going
was
to
in
be great.
America, when I was in America, everyone says to me, like, you go to
It
America.
was cool. I made out of my own skin.
When I was in America, everyone told me like it would be really easy to get big clothes and big shoes and that because they're all huge and all freaks over there.
all right, steady on.
And I was wandering around New York, and I was going in a few shops, kind of saying, we've got size 14, US 15 shoes, and they were going, no, we want
Is that the difference? One.
And they literally were laughing at me. There was a couple of shops where they literally laugh and get like someone else in and come and look at the tall, freaky Englishman.
Really?
And then one guy said, oh, I remember we had someone come in here once, and he said he'd been to a shop which sold kind of stuff for really tall people, and he said, I think I can remember the address, and he sort of looked through the sort of telephone directory, and he made a note of it. And I went on the subway, and I went down all the
Lilliput.
and I went, it took me ages to get there, and really hard to find it. I finally went in there. I've never seen it. It was heaving, right, with freaks. It was
Really?
amazing. It was like, they were just kind of gargoyles. It was like something from Lord of the Rings. They were just kind of these tall people and kind of gnarled.
Did they turn around and
grotesque
start
things.
bowing to you?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And I went in and I just said, hi, I'm looking for a kind of da-da-da-da sort of thing. Guy went, yeah, sure. And he sort of hobbled off into the darkness and came back with exactly the kind of pair of shoes I wanted. I couldn't believe my luck.
It might be a magic shop.
But it was like that shop in, Mr. Ben.
It might have been a dream, though. You see? Have you still actually got the shoes?
No.
Because when Mr. Ben sort of like goes back and wakes up next day, he finds like a feather in his pocket where he remembers he was a 17th century sort of squire or something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The classic episode of Mr. Ben when he becomes a 17th century squire.
oh dear.
Mr. Ben learns to play the harpsichord.
But it's like when Mr. Ben, that black shopkeeper goes, right, are you going to pay for that? You're not just going to go through that door and then have an adventure and come back. Oh, yeah, I am. No, you're not. You're barred.
Yeah.
You just make me sick. We wait nothing from you. Well, I'm not in this for your amusement, Mr. Ben.
Is it only Ben who's got the insider knowledge about the magical doorway, or
I
do you
don't
get other
know, because
customers?
that fella in the fez doesn't seem to have anyone else there.
No, rarely. He's always grinning though. He knows
Yeah.
something.
I'm not sure. It's not a documentary though, is it? It's a kid show, isn't it?
I'm trying to remember.
No, it's not. It's just a kid show, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people make that mistake
Sure.
when they slag off something like Scooby-Doo or
Oh.
Thundercats. It's not really
Not
reality.
actually real.
It's just a
Well,
kid.
but Mr. Ben, they were all on drugs, weren't they? Like Magic Roundabout.
My mate fancied Cheetara from
I forget
Thundercats.
Cheetara. Which one was Cheetara? I quite like She-Woman.
She was a lovely
Yeah,
cat.
she was a real dish.
What's the sexiest cartoon?
I'm glad you've asked.
A lot of people say Jessica Rabbit.
They do, and they'd be right to say that, because she's actually human, she's not an animal, which is good.
What?
Isn't she? No, she's a normal woman married to a rabbit.
No, she's not.
she is. Yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Is that why she got a surname, Rabbit? But
Yeah,
she's not actually
she's
a rabbit.
married Roger Rabbit, but she's not actually a rabbit. She's a glamorous woman.
Is she? I've never seen it.
No, yeah. This is the weird thing about it.
That's weird though, isn't it?
It is weird, the idea of a rabbit having sex with a beautiful woman. That is the weirdest thing about it.
How does that make you feel?
Annoyed, if I'm honest. Yeah. But I bought some bunny ears just after I saw the film.
Oh, hip hop. You got your hip hop
Oh yeah,
track.
good. No. This album was rated by a lot of people last year. My sources tell me that it's being re-released and re-recorded this year. Anyway, Nerd are the outfit. They're better known as the Neptunes, who are kind of sort of hip-hop R&B producers.
Yeah.
I think this track may have featured on a giveaway CD.
It did.
On the NME.
It did.
Anyway, it's Dynamite. It's from the album In Search Of by Nerd, and it's Bobby James. Play it. Nerd from the album In Search Of, and that's Bobby James.
Brilliant.
It's great.
It's really bit. It reminds me a little bit of Warren G. That chorus.
Sure, yeah. And apparently the album, it was on kind of limited release, so it's quite tricky to get hold of, but as I say, I think they're re-releasing it.
Well, you should tape off the radio because we're doing lots of features.
Yeah, no, I'll maybe play that again in the future, just tape it off. I'll tell you what, I'll play the whole album over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we're just I mean, we're going to have us talking. We just go now, and you can
we
press
can't
play and
actually
record.
say, we can't advocate you tape it off the radio, because that's breaking...
No, or maybe I'll just do some bootlegs of the catalogue and just sell them Camden Market for £4.
Exactly, fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we won't, I mean, we shouldn't really say that, but...
Warren G is Dr. Dre's cousin, is he, or something?
Warren G,
right?
I think is his cousin, yeah.
But I know he's got a famous brother as well, and I think it's something like Nate Dogg.
It could well be Nate Dogg.
Maybe someone would know that and could email or phone in.
Yeah, or email maybe kind of family
This is the best thing about being on the radio. I can think of something. There was a competition right on Virgin, right? I was listening Virgin. I think 105. No, what is it? I
dunno.
can't remember.
Yeah. Good station.
Good station.
Yeah.
Good station. And they had a competition, right? And it was to win a trip to America for on the Enterprise. It was all about space. And there was one question, answer 3 right, and it was who was the first one into space? Yuri Gagarin. Who was doing that. And then the third question was how much bigger than the moon is the sun? Is it twice as big or 4 times as big? And this one went 4 times as big. Went correct. It's not. It's hundreds of times
Probably a
bigger.
lot more big,
I can't
yeah.
believe. Can someone look that up on the internet? How many times bigger is the sun than the moon? It's not 4 times. It's huge. It's like beach ball to a pea type dimensions.
Which DJ was it? Do you remember on Virgin?
I can't remember, but it was the one on sort of about 11 o'clock.
I
Wouldn't want to be him.
now.
Yeah, he's embarrassed himself,
He's
hasn't
embarrassed
he?
himself.
When we
Everyone
do
just-
quizzes, we never get anything wrong.
That's true enough.
During that track, I'm chilling out. I'm loving it, aren't I? Carl goes, "Do you know how baguettes came about?"
Do you know how baguettes come about?
I went, "Go on," and Steve went, "No, save it."
Wait a minute though, I'm thinking, Rick, people are going to be desperate to know the answer to that. Why don't we play some ads and some music and stuff?
It's like a cliffhanger.
Exactly. How did baguettes come about?
Whatever he says is going to be good, isn't
Stay
it?
tuned to XFM to find out.
Hives. Hate to say I told you so. So I love that sort of stuff. That and the Strokes. So much better than this new metal rubbish, isn't it?
Definitely.
Now, most people think we talk rubbish on air.
Yep.
If they could hear the conversations
Off
that
air.
go on, I know, but someone just emailed in saying the sun is indeed about 400 times bigger than the moon. Thanks for that. That DJ must have looked it up and said 400 times. That can't be right. It's probably it's probably a printing error. 4 times. Nothing can be 400 times bigger than the moon. Carl went, yeah, but the sun, it's only got 1 million years, isn't it? I went, what? He went, on that space program, it said that in 1 million years the sun will be destroyed, and he said, and then we're all shafted. Right? I laughed. Steve went, no, it's okay. By then, we'll be on another planet.
No, I think that's
Yeah.
true. We'll have colonised
Right?
other planets.
Carl went, yeah, but there'll be no sun. Steve went, well, there's other suns, which is true. Carl went, well, I went, well, yeah, every star is a sun. Carl went, well, not really. Not really. Don't believe that, do you? And I went, no, it is. The sun is just a star. It's not even a particularly big star. Carl went, well, why didn't they say that instead of worrying me? Instead of worrying me.
In 1 million years' time.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Carl. He's been preserved, brought back to life, and is now the ruler of the world.
Just a head in
Yeah.
a fish tank. And he speaks like this. I am Pilkington. Move on.
Migrant workers in South China are wearing adult diapers on packed trains heading home for the New Year holiday because they've got no access to the toilet. Many supermarkets in this particular part of China have reported a 50% increase in sales of adult nappies for the train trips. Now, what do you make of that, Carl? You're on a long, long train journey, 3 hours, 4 hours.
You know there's no toilet. You know you're going to need to go. Pop on a...
Why isn't there any toilets?
They just aren't on the trains.
And they're a really long journey.
Yeah.
How long?
Hours.
Very long in China. It's a big country.
I wouldn't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I'd have to hold it in or something. Just like, I mean, when I was a young kid, I don't know how young you are when you wear a nappy and that, but I remember that I didn't like it doing it in a pair of pants like that, a pair of nappies and that. And I used to have to, even when I was too small to sort of get up on the toilet and that, because you'd fall in. My mum knew that I didn't like nappies and that. I used to just go in the corner, just near the kitchen, in this thing that, like a litter tray. And I'd go there, and I'd do my thing. And, you know, my mum used to say, oh, he's going there, don't look at him and that, because it put me off. You know, like cats don't like being watched when they do it.
When they go in their little tray in the kitchen.
No, they don't like it. I tested it
What
again.
are you, just like a little feral kid, just running around and going to the litter tray, covering it up, and then running up the curtain and eating a sweet at the top of the pelmet?
No, but nobody likes being watched, and that's what I'm saying. If you're sat on a train and you're knocking one out and that, and everyone's looking at you, I don't think it'll catch on.
Well, it has caught on.
Has it
They're all
caught
doing
on,
it.
Steve?
They're just sitting there. They're doing, you know, they're reading the paper, doing Sudoku, and they're looking round when they're going. They're thinking, oh, no one knows I'm going. Everyone's thinking that, and everyone's going.
I mean, what are we getting to? You know what I mean? What's going on in the world that this is happening?
I know.
I mean, people have always had to travel for ages. I just don't understand why there isn't a toilet on it. We're going backwards. We're going backwards. aren't we? Why isn't there a toilet on it?
Well, maybe there is, but maybe people are thinking the queue is going to take forever. If you've got 125 million people
Yeah, but
going
not
back.
everybody wants to go at once. I mean, I know Chinese and all that are like at the forefront of everything that goes on in the world, inventing stuff first, but this isn't one of the best that they've come up with.
What have they invented then, the Chinese? Just
Loads of stuff, haven't they?
Yeah, well, no,
Loads
you,
of stuff.
I was going to ask you. You seem quite educated on the subject. What?
They did them cat mop things that I told you about.
Brilliant. I mean,
This
you
was
could've-
where you put mops on the feet of cats, was that right?
Yeah. And they
Brilliant.
wander about the house, clean up and that, wash the floor for you whilst they're pottering about. They've done like hats with umbrellas on them. They've done. I mean, they're known for like coming up with stuff first.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was gunpowder, but yeah, cats with mops is good as well.
Of course, as ever, lots of questions for Karl as well, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there. Question from Jade. Karl, what would you change if you were in charge of what kids are taught in school? Right, you know, because I mean, your school experience was a bit iffy. You got very bored, didn't you? You got very disillusioned by school.
Yeah. What I'd do, right, is instead of sort of teaching kids about 2 and 2 and that, which is 4, right?
Well done.
Show off.
I think they should be asked more questions that make them think rather than something that has just got an answer,
I totally agree.
right? So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So teaching them the quest for knowledge, inflaming their
but
imagination.
just freaking them out a bit as well. Just going like,
See, I knew that's where it was going. Because as soon as you started talking, Rick, I was thinking you're thinking some of the big existential or philosophical questions. You know, does it mean to be human? What does it mean to interact with other
Exactly.
humans? To be a
or,
human.
or teaching them sort of like philosophy on a basic level, that, you know, teaching them the love for learning. So, you know, get them up to a roots level so they want to learn and then they will learn, as opposed to just teaching them facts. But
Whereas-
he was thinking, freak them out a bit.
Yeah.
no, just like, you know, like I read the other day, and someone sent it in on email, like how there's a dishwasher that's been found on Mars.
Rubbish.
Whoa, what?
But it's not true.
So tell them that.
But it's not true.
Go home and write about it. How did that happen?
But it didn't
Get
happen.
well, it did happen. It was in a science magazine.
No, it didn't happen. There's
It was
not
in-
a
it was in
dishwasher on
proper-
Mars.
Why not?
Because
What do you mean, why not?
how did it get there?
But we're always sending like rubbish out there and that. It's like
Not dishwashers. What do you think the council take it away and they go, where can we put it? Well, the tip's full. Well, where's the nearest thing we can dump this? Mars, I imagine.
no, but the same way that fella who, I don't know, was it 2 Christmases ago when he was messing about saying I can get stuff to Mars and all that. He did it wrong because he did it on like Boxing Day, and I just think nobody's concentrating. No one wants to work on that day. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? They're going to do stuff sort of half-arsed, aren't they, on Boxing Day? So it didn't really get there, I don't think, but it crash landed.
What are you talking about? What was he trying to do?
He was sending something up to Mars.
Yeah,
was?
that little fella that wanted to get something on Mars, and it got,
probe, you mean?
And it didn't open properly.
Yeah.
It got there, didn't it?
But the thing is, it got there, it didn't open properly. No one's been back to pick it up. And what I'm saying is, we're saying about going to Mars as our next planet. It's a tip. There's loads of stuff that's been flirted up there.
No, it's not.
What are you
It has,
talking
'cause
about?
it's just all like that probe thing is still there, rotting away.
Yeah. So, ipso facto, there is a dishwasher on Mars. We've settled that. Why would they have a dishwasher on Mars? Would they take the dishwasher up in the space shuttle in case they had dinner parties? What are you talking about?
I just think they would have a little dishwasher in there. There's a lot of them, tight space. You don't want to, but who's going to do that? You know, that means.
Do you know how much fuel it takes to move a kilogram
Yeah.
out of the Earth's atmosphere? So they're going to take up a dishwasher, are they?
Sorry, but what are they cooking up there, Karl?
How many people does it take to fly a rocket? How many people? Tell me how many people.
Well, it's either one monkey with a banana shoe that feeds it, or probably 2 or 3 humans.
Right, say it's 3 humans.
Yeah.
Now there's 3 humans because they need one to steer it.
one
another
to stop at the petrol station
No,
to
but
get
what,
more.
What I'm saying is, if you're going to start having a sink, then whoever's
They
washing
haven't got
up.
a sink.
I know because they've got a dishwasher.
He's got you there.
But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But all I'm saying is, teach kids things about. Say to them, right, when you go home tonight, there was dinosaurs knocking about ages ago. How would you have lived with them? Get on with it. See you later.
Well, they didn't. I've told you this before. You got a lot of your information from the Flintstones and 1 million years BC with Raquel Welch. There weren't dinosaurs knocking around where there were little fellas knocking around in furry pants.
No, but just sort of saying to them, all right, then, here's a different question.
Go on then.
Would it be better to have dinosaurs knocking about now whilst we're here? Because I put that in my diary the other day. That when you think about it, there's a population problem.
Yeah.
There's too many of us.
Yeah.
We're saving people all the time. No one's allowed to get injured anymore. You've got to, wear a helmet when you're on a bike. There's speed bumps to slow people down. Zebra crossing. Cures for illnesses. No one's dying anymore, right?
Well, I think they are.
Not as many as they should be, because the world's crowded. All I'm saying is
I think there's
it's
still people dying. I think there's still people dying.
not that many, though.
Yeah, I think there's still millions of people dying.
Apparently, a handful.
Lo-
Yeah.
Loads of people are living longer, and that's a problem. So
So
what
you
I'm saying
feel that
is,
you should introduce Tyrannosaurus Rex into,
wandering
say,
about, wandering
London? Just have them wandering around, just picking people up.
that's what, just sort of random and that, because I don't know. I mean, I'm not wishing that anyone I know dies and that, but all I'm saying is I don't know anyone who's died for ages.
Right.
Whereas if a dinosaur was knocking about, you'd go, Neil's gone missing.
Yeah.
And
And
you go,
Nora's
that's-
had her head bitten off by a...
Whatever. I just think then it is survival of the fittest, which is we've lost all that now. You don't even have to be fit to survive. They just keep sticking a new lung on you. Or, do you know what I mean? They can do too much now to keep people going.
just keep sticking a new lung on you.
Question from Kevin. He says, Carl, other than the famous boxing match that you've often talked about, I know that took up about 20 minutes of your time, have you ever been in any other kind of fight? I don't suppose a slanging match. I think they're talking, have you ever been in a physical fight?
Once that I can remember. It was over a woman. Well, a girl. I was at school.
Yeah.
And it was because, like, it's hassle, innit? Right? Relationships when you're younger. 'Cause
How
you're
old were
not-
you?
About 7.
It was over a woman.
Go on then. Yeah, go on.
And there was this girl knocking about who, you know, she was quite good looking, everybody liked. And my mate, he really liked her. And I didn't sort of ask her out and that, but she just sort of took a shine to me and stuff. Like, and didn't really go out with her properly. It's at that age where going out with someone is just like sort of going, all right, in the morning. Do you know what I mean? You just sort of nod your head
Yeah.
and that. Anyway, there was some sort of school disco. And they were playing Spin the Bottle or something. Right? And I sort of wandered over to see what was going on. And I stood on this girl's dress and put a hole in it. And she started crying. I was like, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Right? You know, what's up with you? It's old, what's up with you? And everyone's going, Carl, what are you doing? That's meant to be your girlfriend and that. You should be sort of saying, oh, I'm sorry, and giving her a hug and all that, and saying it'll be all right, we'll sort the dress out. I said, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Right? So she's crying her eyes out. I said, it's over. Right?
Oh, it's over, you saying, right, in the morning. Yeah.
No more of that.
Yeah, there's no more. Right. In the morning.
So I go to the toilet, right? And this lad who fancies her comes in and goes, you're out of order, you know. I'm saying, what are you on about?
Sorry, there's 2 7-year-olds.
7-year-olds.
Yeah, you're out of order. Keep out.
Cut it out. Show her a bit of bloody respect.
Sorry, were you wearing trilbies?
Yeah. He put his cigarette out in the sink, and he just said, leave it.
Get out of my face.
So I just sort of said, look, why are you getting involved and all that?
Yeah.
2 7-year-olds. Why are you getting involved?
And it was obviously like, because, you know, he fancied her and that. We had a bit of a fight in there. I accidentally, you know, sort of chipped his tooth on a sink.
Oh, is it like a proper...
Sorry, this is like something from Lock, Stock and 2 Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? 2 7-year-olds in a toilet.
So you put a hole in her dress. I don't know how that... What were you wearing?
I just
Football
stood on
boots?
it.
How did you make a hole in her dress?
I don't know. It was like that sort of material.
You were
like,
wearing winkle pickers.
like crepe. You know what I mean? It was like a crepe dress or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
So-
got a hole in it.
So you're having a... And when you say you're having a fight, I mean, are you wrestling with it? You got arm locks
a
and
little bit
headlocks?
of wrestling and shoving about and that. And it was an accident. I didn't sort of go, right, I'm going to break your teeth or anything. It's just that I happened to push his head down and his tooth hit the sink.
Right.
And it chipped and what have you. After that, like, I sort of left there and stuff, and we had to go into assembly. And there was a copper in there doing some presentation saying, listen, kids, you know, don't get into trouble because we're out there and we'll get you. Right? So sort of trying to teach the kids young not to get into any trouble and stuff. So I'm sat in the assembly room thinking, oh, God, there's a copper here talking, and like, my mate's going to come in a minute, like, with a chipped tooth and everything. And
Questions are going to get asked.
that's what kind of happened. I mean, the coppers didn't get involved.
Yeah.
Did you turn your back on violence after that then?
Yeah. He said, you'll never take me alive, copper.
So yeah, that was the sort of last fight.
Brilliant.
I don't think I mentioned to you before, I saw a girl on the tube, she had a bag, and she was quite gothy. She had a bag, and it sort of had like a Barbie's head, kind of sort of defaced hanging from there, and loads of badges and tassels and little motifs and odd things, and she decorated the bag. And then it had sort of things like, you know, legalise cannabis, and ban the bomb, you know, and stop the war.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to grab her and say, you doing much about the war, or are you working mainly on the bag?
Yeah, you spent most of the year
you're filling in the positions, are you doing the marches,
collecting
or is it largely
badges.
the bag you're focused on?
Oh dear.
I'll tell you another thing, that a fashion mistake that always offends me whenever I see it, is an Englishman of any age wearing cowboy boots.
I had cowboy boots.
I can't believe it.
When I was 18, right, I went out and got a pair of cowboy boots. The cheapest, I mean, they were the only ones I could afford. Awful.
Why?
I mean,
was that 'cause you were in...
they were like clogs that came up to the knee. They were so uncomfortable.
And why did you get them? Who was wearing them at the time that you thought they were cool?
Clint Eastwood.
Right. Okay.
And I had cowboy boots. I put segs in them.
What's sex?
Which the little things you nail into the bottom.
So
right?
they sort of clip-clop as
Clip-clop,
well.
right. So I'm 18, right? Those tight jeans, so tight in fact, I thought I had to go to the doctor, and I said my balls are aching, and I went off. I said, I've got a pain in my epididymis and all this, which I was doing biology, and he went, your jeans are too tight, they're squashing your balls, right? So I had cowboy boots, right, and pale ones, not even sort of like finished properly, sort of like just the raw sort of leather, cheap wooden bits at the bottom, segs, really tight Levi's, and a red sweatshirt with bullshit on it. That was a present.
Just embroidered on?
I looked pretty hot, baby. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I remember once as well, this was really embarrassing. I had leather jacket, and
How old were you?
Oh, this is embarrassing, 26, I think. And I just had a nice leather jacket, right? But I was bored one day, and so it's about 1986, 87.
Yep.
87, must have been. And I just painted on the lapel a little acid. And that didn't last.
And were you going to acid house raves at the time?
No, of course not. No. But I remember that one didn't last long. That was in the bottom of the wardrobe immediately.
Yeah.
I knew at the time. I just thought, what is that?
Yeah.
But I forgive anyone, sort of anything up to about the age of 25, right?
I don't know.
But I mean, it's getting close there, yeah. But certainly up to age 20. But it's the 40-year-olds. It is the 40-year-olds that just still have a little go. Goths are the best. Goths are the best.
Or the cowboy stuff, because there's never been a culture of cowboys in this country.
I know,
You know, so
yeah.
you see the 40-year-old guy with the kind of cowboy jacket with the tassels.
Yeah.
You know, or the bootlegs tie.
Add that, yeah. Went to that, yeah. Did all that,
Because you've been through most phases. This is what's
Been
interesting
through-
to me about you, is you're quite self-aware.
But the most committed one was probably the New Romantic when I first went to university. So, you know, 18, red bullshit t-shirt and tight jeans. Within a couple of months, David Sylvian, just full makeup and that.
Can I ask, because having never really subscribed to one of those fashions, one of those styles, with something like New Romantic, which you've got to be quite committed, do you ease into that slowly, start wearing a bit of nail polish, maybe an earring, and then you work your way in, or you went whole hog?
No, I remember the first time I did it, was the sort of like the first disco in my first year. Just borrowed someone's makeup, put it on, stopped at the chin, hadn't quite got the sort of like a mannequin,
right?
And then I sort of got better at it, I suppose.
Right.
Wanted to look like David Sylvian. That was the idea, and then it sort of.
And
like
so
stuck,
you had
and
to
then-
literally go out and sort of start again with your wardrobe, presumably. The cowboy boots went out, the tight jeans. You had to literally go to a shop and buy an outfit, a New Romantic outfit.
No, it was okay because in those days it was a suit. So it was a New Romantic. You wore the suit. I didn't wear all the sort of like pirate gear and pixie boots.
Right,
I sort of wore the suit and luckily before I went away I'd bought a suit from my mum's catalogue, which was one of those woolen ones that went bobbly. So not quite David Sylvian.
Yeah.
But you know, at least I was having a go. Yeah. Well, respect.
Have you ever subscribed to any of those fashions, Carl?
Nah, just
Just going for the gay look now, and he wears Ben Sherman's and he shaves his head.
remember wanting some Dr. Martens.
Yeah.
And my mum worked at a college in a canteen, and she knew I wanted some, but she got some. There was an old woman who worked in the canteen who said she had some, and it turned out to be like little granny boots. And I ended up having them for a bit.
With a little zip up the front.
Yeah,
Nice.
Oh, brilliant! Did you wear them?
for a bit.
Yeah. Well, you might as well. Want not. Waste not, want not. Play a record.
Have some ads.
Alright. White Stripes. The hardest button to button. Steve. I've got to find out the answer. It's been driving me mad. How many words are there in the English language? Does anyone know?
Define your terms. By English language, you mean English words. Words
Yeah,
that are
I
considered to be
don't mean
English.
how many words are there in a dictionary with all slang, different, how many English words are there that you say were English words, you know? Not
But there are so many of them which
yeah,
are
but not
derived from-
phrases, not slang necessarily. But
But what about English words which are derived from French, Celtic, all the rest of it?
Well, like, you know, cliches, okay, but they have they have other languages in them. But how many different English characters are there?
Right.
Because
There was
Words,
some
not
news.
characters.
There was some
Yeah.
some news a few weeks ago about a fella who could, if you said a word to him, right, he'd say, "Yeah, that's on page 36 of the dictionary," right? And they said he remembered 80,000 words, right? So that's in a little dictionary. They said it's 80,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so does that clear that up?
well, I thought there was about 100,000, right, English words in use, not counting all the other little bits and pieces, phrases, slang. Like, I think I is in there now. Ali G, popular. Now, I don't know whether I should count that or not.
Well, if you're one of our listeners, perhaps if you know somebody who finished school, you could maybe pop next door, get them, ask them, and then email in the answer, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk if you've got an answer for that.
Phil
Honestly,
Collins.
right, okay, I don't know what the PC term is for this, but I honestly think, I think you're quite bright, you know, I think you're quite streetwise and all that things, but I actually think, oh, I've got to be so careful here not to offend people, but I think you might be,
Could you maybe describe it through a sound?
you might be educationally subnormal. Does that worry you? No.
I've got by alright, I'm not going to worry about it now. You know what I mean? I'm 30. You know what I mean? Why start worrying about it now?
But you've got the mind of a 12-year-old.
So what?
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't worry about stuff. If you don't know about stuff, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Well, if he's educationally subnormal, I'm afraid also Matt Briggs of South East London is as well,
Well
'cause he
done,
got all
Matt,
three
well
right,
done.
as did a number of other people.
Well done. Well done.
that.
Yeah,
So he's won that stuff.
he has indeed. Player Echo, we've also got your film quiz coming up, and Monkey News, we're all looking forward to that.
Monkey News.
Bit of Bowie.
Yeah, one of my favourite Bowie songs of all time, Letter to Hermione from Space Oddity.
If you've got any Christmas shopping, I should show up and do that now.
Letter to Hermione, David Bowie. Well, we've had the most convincing answer, that it's about 290,000 actual words, but possibly 3 million in our vocabulary, using all jargon and scientific stuff and all that.
Sure.
290,000. Still a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot.
We know so little, don't we?
Apparently the average person has about 20,000 words in
Oh,
their
is it?
vocabulary
Right.
and uses maybe 2,000 a week.
Really?
Yeah. Carl, obviously, slightly bringing that average down.
Carl, what do you think of that?
Single figures.
Doesn't matter, get by. Why have you got to use longer words messing about and that? Told you. That word about old, anti-dipuian or something. Just say old. That's a bit old, isn't it? That's a bit anti-dipuian and that. What's the point?
Yeah.
Get to the point.
Sure.
Busy.
Right, okay, are you in a film this week, Carl?
We're doing that now.
Yeah, go on. Get it over with.
Hang on a minute then.
Get it over with. Let's get this show over with. We can go home. You can go off to Lanzarote and sit on some ash.
Some charcoal.
He's not happy about that. That's annoyed him. The listeners have all ganged up on him.
Yeah.
XFM giving him 2 CDs.
We've had more calls for his resignation this week than ever before.
What do you think of that, Carl?
What do you mean?
There's another reason.
Do you know what I mean, though? Because he's grumpy, he's not just giving it, he goes, well, I can't help it, can I? I don't want it. You're being paid well to do a job. People have tuned in to be entertained, to have good songs. Me and Steve are working
I'm pressing
here.
the buttons. I'm paid to press the buttons. That's what I'm doing. Has every CD started on time?
Then
Yeah.
why would they give you Monday off if you just paid to press the buttons?
Don't get every other Monday off, do I?
So have you stopped doing that now, have you?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Because there's work to do and that. But I'm not moaning about it. Let's get on with it.